Welcome to Wednesday, May 7th, 2025. This Day Weather Podcast brought to you by ConverseCountyTourism.com. Feel the energy of Converse County. Explore Douglas's Railroad Heritage, Ayers Natural Bridge, and the Jackalope Legend, Glen Rockbow's scenic trails, dinosaur history, and small town charm. Plan your visit at ConverseCountyTourism.com. Well, beautiful shot there of a bluebird that was taken before the clouds and the upslope came on in, but a beautiful shot there. Now the upper level low that's been producing upslope and for some of you some nice precipitation is going to be moving off to the east, and it's going to do what we call as fill. Basically, the low has reached its peak strength. It's going to slowly weaken now and drift off to the east. However, easterly flow on the surface will bring winds from the east, pushing them west uphill. So it's still going to be soupy for parts of Colorado, southeastern Wyoming, western Nebraska, western Kansas, into the panhandles today, and that will continue to feed moisture in. So there's still going to be some shower and thunderstorm activity, but much less than the last day or two. Along and west of the divide, warmer temperatures and higher pressure comes on in. Still looking at a big warm-up coming for Mother's Day weekend. Temperatures begin their upward trend tomorrow, and then will continue probably through Monday and Tuesday before the next system arrives towards the middle of next week, and that'll be followed by another system the following weekend. So we're going to have high pressure, but it's not going to last. So there will be other opportunities for weather as we go into the week ahead. Well, a lot of times you hear about the snow levels, where the snow's going to fall. Here is a wonderful shot from the Wyoming Department of Transportation webcam on Interstate 90. You can see there along the divide, the sign showing exactly where you are there. And you can see the change in elevation as you climb the divide. Look at that. Talk about a snow line so well defined there. And you can see as the road goes back up again, you can see that there's snow again up along those higher elevations. People who live between Buffalo and Sheridan see this actually quite frequently as the change in altitude along the interstate. A lot of times in the spring is just enough to turn the rain to snow with a small change in altitude. Snow all the way down to near Thermopolis and Hot Springs County near Lucerne, with a really good shot of moisture again for central and northern Wyoming. And there you can see the fresh snow on the foothills of the Bighorn Mountains and things greening up very nicely. And there's Sinks Canyon. So a lot of snow in the higher elevations where the storm was colder along the northern areas. And all the way back into Idaho, you can see the cold and the wet there. Snow levels down pretty far there. And across the high plains, the upslope. This is what the upslope looked like on the other side of the Laramie Range yesterday. A lot of clouds, but notice that low deck of clouds isn't there because the air, when it comes from the east in the Laramie, is downslope, not upslope, because it comes downhill off the Laramie Range. So you get a little bit of a hole there. But on the other side of the Laramie Range near Cheyenne, looked like that all day yesterday in the upslope. Then all the way from southeast Oregon, you can see a beautiful shot there of the clouds, the sagebrush as the system came on in. And then another shot from, we're just going all around the west, aren't we? Here's one from Arizona. Arizona picking up some rain out of this system, much needed. Great to see the moisture down there, because usually by the time you get into this part of May, it's starting to get real hot and dry down there. So kind of a bonus to pick up some May precipitation. The satellite image this morning shows the swirl of clouds well. Some heavy thunderstorm activity in far south Texas, but you can see the curl of the air coming all the way back westward with two upper level lows. One here. Here's that other dumbbell one we were talking about over the last couple of days, kind of a double barrel low pressure system. And here's the drier air and the high pressure coming in. The water vapor showing the tongue of moisture very well, wrapping its way all the way back into the front range of southern Wyoming, Colorado, then into the western high plains. And got a little bit of a surface stationary boundary right here along where the flow's coming on in, the high pressure surging in the cooler air from the north. So there's still going to be upslope today. Now, I wanted to show you a couple of radar images. This is just classic, especially in the drought areas where you finally start to get generating some precipitation. You finally get a pattern that's really good to make it rain. And it did rain just about everywhere. Of course, results may vary. Now, this was taken yesterday evening with 2 lines of rain splitting the North Platte Valley here, and areas that really need the rain right here just getting missed. Now, later on, after this shot was taken, the rain did fill into the North Platte Valley there actually very, very well. But talk about donut holes and the drought and everything else. We've talked about here lately about the drought conditions in southeastern Wyoming, east central Wyoming, into the panhandle of Nebraska, where you have a donut hole and you see the donut hole get filled in, and the center part of the drought is always the last part to get help. And here is a classic example of this. When we'll loop that there really quickly. Here is the precipitation estimate from the Cheyenne Next Red radar for the storm so far. I've filtered it to show the colors starting at a ½ inch of rain or more. So where you see the blue, you're at a ½ inch of rain or more. Where you get into the greens, you're over an inch. So you can see that there's a bit of a hole over the capital city right here, and I know a lot of very frustrated people in Cheyenne, including myself. Now, that doesn't mean it rained. It did. It just didn't rain a ½ inch or more. Now, it did just along south of Interstate 80. But talk about being snake bit, and this happens in droughts. You get these donut holes like this, and they shrink when it starts to improve from the outside in. So a really good swath of rain right here in northern and northeastern Laramie counties, southern Platte, southern Goshen County. Then look at the rain just south of the border. This was a persistent area of good rainfall, well over an inch in northern Weld, northern Larimer County, just getting up to the border. But when you're snake bit, you're snake bit. But rain did fall about 4/10 of an inch here. And maybe we can tip the scales and go to a ½ inch before today's over in some areas. So here's your upper level pattern. The cutoff low, slowly weakening. This is where the precipitation is going to be today. So there's going to be remnants of the upslope, and if the sun peeks through a little bit, it'll destabilize. You're going to get some showers and thunderstorms. So there still could be some additional precipitation today in those areas that are highlighted in gray and green. By the weekend, Mother's Day weekend, high pressure builds in strongly. Here comes the warm-up. Temperatures will rebound nicely. It'll be wet along the Gulf Coast. Here's our next weather maker coming in next week, but we're going to enjoy a big warm-up starting tomorrow, lasting through the weekend and into early next week. We will see as it gets warmer and the fact that residual moisture will hang around, we'll get afternoon and evening thunderstorms in the west Friday. Here it is Friday. Saturday, not as widespread, more west of the divide, but there'll be activity. Then Mother's Day Sunday, as we've been showing you, is going to have an active afternoon of showers and thunderstorms across the Intermountain West and out into the plains. So for Mother's Day activities, take advantage of the earlier part of the day. Then as we get into next week, here's the next low coming into the Pacific Northwest. This is going to, again, kind of crash the party. It's a similar situation, a cutoff low in the east, another low coming in off the Pacific Northwest. So this is by Monday morning. And by Wednesday, it pushes another system through the central Rockies. If it takes this path, it's going to get very wet again up here. Another northern situation. But there'll be showers and thunderstorms elsewhere as the frontal system comes through. So that's the middle of next week. By next weekend, the potential of another cutoff low comes in the weekend of the 17th. So the pattern is going to be staying active. In between the systems, though, we're going to have nice warm-ups, nice spring weather, just like what we're going to see this upcoming weekend. Have yourself a good Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow.